Let's take a look at systems of linear equations with two equations, two variables by matrices on a T89 calculator. This is my website, www.mathheals.com, and if you go into the graphing calculators link and go into college algebra, you'll find all the different topics that you can do the get help with the graphing calculator, or actually do. And you see all the different models of calculators. And I'm going through and slowly creating the videos for all of these. Now, if you want to look at the course lectures, if you go to Math Class Information, I'll eventually rename that as Math Lectures. And then click College Algebra. Then you can go in and you can watch whatever lecture you want. So if you want to know more about transformations and functions, you can click this YouTube video. Now, don't click the WebEx video. Those are before I knew how to do the YouTube. And YouTube is the exact same lecture that I give in the classroom. Same explanation, same examples. Okay. Now that I've gave my sales pitch. Not sure if it's much of a sales pitch when it's free, though. Then let's take a look at this problem. Okay, so we got 8x plus 2y is equal to 3. And 7x minus y is equal to 2. And the instructions just say solve. Okay, we're going to use matrices for this, which means we're going to drop the x's, the y's, and equals and keep the numbers in their signs. So we're going to have 8, 2, 3, 7, negative 1, and 2. Now the size of these matrices are rows by columns. So this has got 2 rows by 3 columns. So this is a 2 by 3. So let's go input this into our calculator. Okay, so I'm going to go to my apps, and you see this data matrix editor. And there's a 6 next to it. So I'll press that 6 to choose it. And you're probably going to choose new. So I'll do 3 for new. And it'll come up with data. So I'll do a right arrow key. And then you got these items, so we'll choose 2 for matrix. Down arrow twice to variable, and then I'll do my equals to choose A. Alpha's on, so whenever I choose that letter, it chooses the alphabetical letter above it. Now my down arrow to row dimension, and this has 2 rows, so I'll do 2. Press clear. I forgot to take the alpha off, so press alpha. Now I do 2. If you don't see 2 and you see a letter, that means alpha's on. And then number of columns is 3. So I do 3 and down arrow. Okay. Now this is how you create a brand new matrix called A. Now I'm going to get an error when I do this, but you shouldn't unless you already have A defined. So I'm going to do enter on OK. And it says variable or flash application use. Okay. Do escape, and I'll do escape again. If you already have it created, then to change it, what you do is you go into apps, choose data matrix editor, number 6, and we'll do an open instead of new. So I do 2 for open, right arrow, choose matrix, and down arrow to variable, and then you do a right arrow key, and it'll bring up a list of all the matrices you have defined. Now I only have A, so I only have one choice, kind of a boring one. So I do enter on that, and then I do enter again. Now this brings it up, and my size of my matrix here is not correct. So to resize it, we want to go into the util menu. See, it says F6 up here. Now F6 is above our F1, so we'll do second F1, and then I want to choose 6 for resize matrix. Number of rows we said was 2, so I do 2, then down arrow, and number of columns is 3, and then down arrow, and then to save that you press enter, and then that resizes our matrix. Well, I'm going to enter each number, so I do 8, and then I press enter, 2, enter, 3, enter, 7, enter, negative 1, enter, and 2, enter. Looks like I got everything in there correct, so I'm going to exit out. So I do second escape to exit out. Okay, now we're going to use RREF to find our answer, solve the system equations. So I'm going to do my math menu. I do second 5 to bring up math. I want to choose 4 because that's the number in front of the matrix. And then I want to choose the one with 2 R's. So I choose 4 for there. Now we need to tell it RREF of what? And we put this into A, so I'm going to do alpha equals to get A, closing parentheses, and then enter. And we're going to get 1001, 7 over 22, 5 over 22. Okay, now 2 equations, 2 variables. Your first 2 by 2 square here should be a diagonal of 1, 0s everywhere else. If it isn't, that means it didn't work. So, but if you see the diagonal 1, 0s everywhere else, it means it did work. And our answer is the far right column. So this will be X, and this will be Y. How do I know this is X and this is Y? Well, when we set up our matrix, we put our X column first, and we put our Y's second. So it's the same order you put it here is what your answer is going to be. And we usually put a parentheses around it, so that'd be 7 over 22 and 5 over 22. And that's our answer. Okay. On the calculator. You may or may not see this. If I press mode, and I want to go down to page 2, and I can down arrow to get down there, but I'll do F2. See where it says F2, page 2? So I'll do F2 to go to page 2. And where it says exact approximate, if I down arrow to that, do a right arrow, and instead of auto, I'm going to change it to approximate. So I'll press 3. And now do enter for save. Now if I do REF again, you notice we get decimals. And this is what you may have got to begin with. Well, we always want exact values in algebra if we can. So if you're seeing decimals here, go to your mode, do F2 for page 2, down arrow to exact approximate, right arrow, and then choose auto. And then press enter to save. And now if you do REF, you'll get your exact values. And that's how to solve system equations, 2 equations, 2 variables, using the REF function on a T89 calculator.